lump of coal, if you want to call it that, we're not really. Is there some value in that? And I'm going to put it in a third-dimensional realm, so that when we take a look at it, we don't have.
Let's move out. Check.
Well, there's a judgment value, and the judgment value is light's the better way to be. But is there some value to the dark side? And if it's not a value to us, then why did we create it for us to kind of live there? If that makes sense.
So a few questions there. Why don't we start with the value of recognizing? For me, Ron is already finding separation between the emotions that come through the head and the thoughts come through it versus what he's calling consciousness and or source and God. The light has all the intelligence in the universe. So I'm going to remind everyone who will listen, again, take what you want from me, dismiss what you don't.
Down one.
This is essentially
I'm
what it
wounded.
was like before you got this body. There's not one thing you didn't know. There's not one thing in the universe you did not. You are
Speed it
God.
up. I don't have
You are
long.
a portion of God and or goddess, whatever you'd like. And all the knowledge in the
Someone get
multiverse,
over here and help me.
everything is in you right now.
Hold on.
through your life
I can
force.
patch you up.
The only thing you don't have is the experience of all the knowledge you have to go play out in the multiverse, create the multiverse in singularity or in collectiveness and or, as Rod has pointed out, in duality. So essentially, this is the comedy, if there is one here. I've never seen God fight with itself so much. And because it's self-imposed,
He's down.
soul trap, in my opinion, spirit cage, whatever you'd like, has been abducted by a geneticist who made a brain that only lives in thoughts that are not theirs because of the coding, because of the heavy emotions, because of the heavy historical capabilities of memory. And so if we would remind ourselves how synchronicity in the universe works, it works through our highest excitement because that is what we really are. When we think we have to get that square peg in the round hole over and over again and it's just not working and I keep paddling upriver and it just doesn't work, I'm going to do it harder and harder. That's mind energy as an example. And so that's how duality is created. And yes, there is great value to Ron's point. How come I keep thinking this is
One less hundred to worry about.
fear? How come I have doubt?
Finished. Move out.
Where is doubt and fear come from if I have any truth in what I'm saying? It comes from the mind. It comes from someone else courting me.
Finish.
It comes from even abductions. Your cell phone can abduct you. Carrier waves into your head, your
I need a minute.
television.
Hold on.
Okay, got it.
Watch my back.
That's how supple and
Okay,
and
got it.
sensitive
Move
you
out.
are. And that's how the bad guys have used duality to suspend our creativity. I hope that helps.
Yeah, that does.
Oh,
So what I'm getting from what you just said,
move out.
there is an experience value in the dark side because we don't want that. And so we're looking for the light.
Don't let up.
So
They can't
we're
keep
not
up with
living
us.
in the
I need
light,
some meds.
and
Watch my
there's
back.
ways that we can change our thoughts and that will change our mind that will get us more aligned with the light. Now, that, to me, that would be the secret. Now, Trixie says, how do you go within? Well, we hear things like, well, you should love yourself. Well, don't I love myself anyway? What is it that I'm
Keep an
Okay,
eye out.
got it.
supposed to love myself more? How do you do that? There's those kinds of instructions that kind of beat up against a brick wall because we have no knowledge of how to do that in an effective sort of way. Now, some people will talk about the meditations and how wonderful and great that is.
I need a minute.
And that's going to be their key. And now you've said that that's not really the
Finish.
key because
Move out.
that keeps you outside when you want to draw the light inside. And I don't know how to address that. Somebody asked me, how do you gain more light? How do you gain vibrations? Well, you do things that are enjoyable, and don't think about things that are not. And that what you reflect upon or focus upon is what you're creating. So there's a lot of things out there that are true, and yet we haven't been able to assimilate all of the good stuff and put it over here and say, well, this is what is the good stuff, and these are things that are kind of different, but we don't really know. And these are the dark stuff. Well, the dark and the light are very visibly different. And how do you get from one to the other is perhaps maybe the dilemma
Straggler, right there.
mankind has now.
One less straggler to worry about.
I'm in agreement with what you said there, Ron. I might use different words, but that's about it. I think we'd come to the same meaning. Again, huge fan of meditation and finding your peace center, but I'm encouraging everyone to do it through their heart. So there are some very qualified people that teach meditation through the head. It's very tricky business, though.
Finish. Move out.
And that's the information that's been held from you, in my opinion. And it's a swinging door. The door goes both ways. You can receive and transmit, and you're leaving your body at the same time. So I would encourage people, as Ron said, the more you use the muscle of being in peace energy and your highest excitement, if you will,
Move out.
the more it grows. You don't have a choice in it. You're at a place. This is the farthest this version of humans has ever made it. This is about arguably the 8th version of humans on planet Earth. And this version is a little too good for this round of the ascension cycle. So we're growing out of those hindrances. And so we're naturally feeling everyone's changing, whether they like it or not. Some will grow intentionally, some are going to grow organically. It doesn't matter. Your light is going to come into your physicality more and more all the time now. And that's one of the primary purposes I'm here. It gets a little confusing because you're getting more of your capacities. You're feeling strong. You're loving more expressively, more expansively.
Beat it out.
And that can be tricky. You have so much of your capabilities overnight. So in any event, Ron has it right for me. As you grow your light, it just grows even faster. It's like going to the gym, and I'm just the gym coach.
I can't hold on much longer.
Hope that helps. Yeah.
This is good. Thank you.
Awesome. Do you have any more questions that you want to ask at this moment, Ron?
No, that's good for now. It was just a thought that is there a value in the darkness, and I'm not sure other than just the bad example of
contrast.
Like contrast. Yeah, good word.
I think that the dark actually helps you appreciate the light because you go, well, I don't want that. I want this. That's just my opinion. So
that's what duality's for, so that we can see the contrast.
Yeah.
And then make a choice for the light.
So I want to talk about two more primary topics. One would be like the boards and the political space. And then the other one would be if we could do some commands and kind of like how we're going to help each other as this, joining forces. So which one do you want to start with, Q?
Yeah, let's get my favorite topic, low frequency politics. I like it.
Then we can end with a bang. How's that? Well, we don't want you to go there. More like,
all right,
how
pack
can
up.
we
We're
speed
going
this
home.
up? We've all been waiting so long for us to be able to be all boots on the ground and, start rebuilding. So, but
let's talk about the boards real quick because it's fun, and this is an audience I don't usually get. I rarely got an opportunity to talk to this direction, so it's really fun. Let's do it. Ask me a question if you like.
Okay, so were you the one who actually posted everything on I don't remember if it was 4chan or whatever that was. Were you the one who wrote those posts, or how did that work?
No, so we gotta look how this is. Just know that this is very well thought out, very well, and the planning for this is very vast, and the redundancy of this process throughout the universe is vast as well. Redundancy being the key word. So you can assume that many decades ago, a technology was brought here. It's a gateway, and it's a quantifiable gateway where you can receive a geography or a planet's consciousness to and from source. It's very, very easy. Should be very easy to understand this technology if you've ever seen how a satellite works, a crystal works. It doesn't really matter what form of technology it is. It's almost identical to a quantum gateway. That technology was brought here. Not that the Arcturian region is my favorite, but it was a technology brought from the Arcturian region many decades ago, and it was had redundancy. It was given to several families and individuals who had a relationship with the military. Some of those individuals had a light being present and or were representation of the light. Some of those people are very famous, and some of those people have been murdered, to give you a clue. So having all this information in
Watch
order
your
for a
asses.
gateway to work
Reports show hunters are in the area. Check.
There has to be a conduit from and to source. So you don't have enough light beings here for a gateway to work comprehensively unless you have a transmitter receiver to ground from source. I am one of those. And until my final implants were removed by Special Forces in 2017, as an example, the gateway did not work 100% because only two of the other individuals had all their light in them. So in order for a gateway from source to work, you have to have the three of us here. We started with 5. Immediately 3 of us got abducted. Now we're full scale. Now we have 3, and 1 we're trying to get back. The other is left.
Got a straggler!
That's Ron Amatronic. People know. In any event, what's been given to these special people and these military is the way to sort and extrapolate the consciousness of an entire planet. And these teams of people
one less hunter to worry about.
Had access over the decades. Had to be very careful that it didn't fall into the wrong hands, because actually the bad guys have one similar, but it doesn't have the comprehensiveness of going to and from source collectively around the planet. They had what you've probably heard. They did have a way to measure consciousness in locations and coach timelines and what they wanted, but for the most part, they were very incomplete compared to what you're seeing on the Q Post. So I'm a Q fan of Q Post, and I'm not a huge fan for a couple different reasons.
Hold on, I'll patch you up.
One, it's obviously, you can see now it's an attack against propaganda with propaganda. That's all it's made for.
What a pussy.
And to remind you that if you don't get off your butt, you're going to get the same story you got over again yesterday because you're watching a movie, and you keep watching the movie, and you keep watching the movie, enjoy the show, etc. Some of that is supposed to be a little bit of help, but essentially, if you live in the past, you're going to get the future from the past. Okay, so with that tool, these individuals, very special and very intelligent, have decided to extrapolate consciousness of the planet in a specific direction. And now you can see the disclosure direction they went. For me, I wish they would make it a little broader because I think we're ready. But essentially, you're reading your consciousness on the Q Post, sorted. That's all it is. And the way it works is because 3 of us from Source are here now. This is very, very normal. If all of us had more of our light in us, we wouldn't need a quantitative computing system. We wouldn't need a gateway. But we're not all quite up to speed yet. We're getting there. We would be able to read the collective consciousness if we had a little more of our tools back. So anyway, that's it in a nutshell. Hope that helps.
Absolutely. So a lot of those posts are signed Q. is that because of you, or is that because of the military? Because I know you're the transmitter.
Right. So you can already guess which one I am. And when we first identified the groups who were
I'm
most
about to leave this
viable,
lobby. I don't like
there
these
is some
guys.
Galactic Federation.
Please don't run behind me.
It's a longer story, but essentially,
Oh my fucking guy, that be setting me up.
they needed an identification because you gotta remember 50 years ago.
Oh my god!
Transmissions are coming from. So
Stop running and giving away my location, bro.
Originating name from my very first life in the multiverse, and we used the first letter. Essentially, we don't like names and titles. I don't care any name or title at the higher frequencies because our expression of ourselves is a clear identifier to who you are when you communicate at higher frequencies. But down here, we needed to give them something so they knew what direction the information was coming from. So it's not, it's not a vague direction. They can always see it's from Q. And then that education process grew from there. And the identifier wasn't as important because they got educated on the history of the universe through quantifiable gateways. So I hope that helps.
Okay. And have I heard you say that when it says trust the plan or watch the show, that there is no plan? I feel like I heard you say that
Keep an eye out.
at some point.
Okay, finished. Move out.
How about this? Who's got it?
I don't know. Do we all have our own?
There we go. Thank you.
Look alive.
Of course. So if we would just follow our highest excitement. So this day, you got to remember, when you have a gateway like this, you can see everything. And all of us are going to have access to these quantifiable computing systems very quickly that will teach us about consciousness. But we don't want everyone to have it because they can also control consciousness if you're participating in a heavy duality scenario. So the bad guys obviously would use it for negative services. Answering your question is a little tough because I'm not the one always.
One down.
Firefly, watch yourself. Wounded. On. We keep those directly.
Toast.
Woo!
Submitted, but it's
$4 for $1.
get excited about.
Golly, that was awesome.
Finished. Move out.
I grilled all 4 of them. Oh my
I believe it's real necessary to walk the talk, and we live our highest excitement. And
yo.
It's not real exciting to look at fast for me, and I encourage everybody to create forward. So, as a short version,
This one is going on YouTube.
Just reading your own experiences on the planet, sorted in a geography many times, and sorted by topic. Hope that helps.
Interesting. Ron, do you want to add any questions in that topic?
Hunter, look
No,
alive.
I'm just sitting here enjoying it. Yeah.
He's down.
Okay. Cool.
Right, so what's interesting about the one area I do get
Straggler.
so they do have the ability to talk to me in real time because I can bilocate. All these families can talk to me in real time. I call them families because they're well picked in the military, and they have a shoulder
Target down.
so people can start to figure out
Scratch
who
one.
those families might be. In any event, where I am excited is measuring and helping raising the consciousness of a planet. So, using America's example,
No one comes back from that.
I specifically do measure where we're at as a collective. And you can assume that any given day, the whole planet is roughly at 65% of their conscious capability at any given day. The issue for me is we're not sustaining that 65%. So some days we're at 20%, some days we're at 80%. And some of it has to do with some manipulation here, time loops.
Come here.
The bad guys do have
Nigga.
time stamping capability. That
He's
means they
lucky
can
I
slow
wasn't
down time, they can speed it up, they can cut
Don't worry,
pace,
gotcha.
truly healed.
they can still have control of the moon,
Wounded.
and things like that. But essentially, we can all win this game real quick if we work with our heart center in all those ways. I hope that helps a little bit.
You know, I'm glad you said that because when I read some of the rooms on Telegram, I read people bickering back and forth about who to listen to, who to not listen to, and all of that. And I'm just like, this is just such low vibration energy. It is not accomplishing what we really want to accomplish.
Oh Lord, why?
Yeah, so the great opportunity here is your highest excitement has nothing to do with the past. It instantly goes away. And so if there was any salutation I could attach to
I
stick
think it
to the
just
plan,
blew up my whole
because
cover by running.
Keep an eye out.
there's a model and a metrics that is going to be achieved here regarding the volume of light you're going to get in your body, whether you like it or not. So in some respects, stick to the plan can be let's say described as you are going to grow God in you no matter what. And if you want to hide it, you can try and hide it, but you're getting it. Everyone's getting the truth whether they like it or not, and that is you are becoming more of a light being. And now how much you play with it, help it, is up to you now. And that's why I'm here.
Perfect. So how do we speed it up and get the show on the road?
It's almost like I'm wasting my time. Am I just wasting my time?
No, never. I'm a Mary when I'm with you.
Come on.
Remember that?
All right.
I'm just a Mary.
It is. I get to have fun too, right? Okay, so the sure, efficient way to work with yourself is to work with yourself. Forgive the redundancy. Go within. Verbally first, and have fun with it. It must be verbal.
It's like about
Talk to yourself continuously. God, source, whatever word you like. You are God. Never forget it. I'm so sorry for
because
all
my
you
teammates are
people
not
in churches
aggressive.
you've been to.
Okay, I'm paying
sorry.
attention.
With books that have a lot of great information. Confused, informational call.
Take point.
Forgive me.
Gotta patch myself up.
You're all beautiful people, but at the end of the day, you are God. All of us are a portion of God. And now to bring in more of our light is the beautiful thing that's happening here. And go within
They
is
can't hold on much
all
longer.
you can do, and super fast.
Okay, so you just leave me.
Nice.
Okay, go ahead, Ron.
Fuck that, he's dying.
It's my observation from the
Come here.
religious aspect of life.
Yeah, buddy.
There are many different Christian churches as well
One
as
less straggler to worry about.
many other
Finish.
religions.
Move out.
I know.
And it seems to me that what they try to do is stop us from knowing who we are. So we don't even allow ourselves to be God. Religion has taught us that we have to have somebody between us and God. And it's usually a priest or a reverend or somebody like this.
Where is bitch outside? Who's alive?
That
Well, whoever that is, I better go ham on his ass.
Intermediaries,
He left.
Let's return to base.
are trained so that they don't allow the people to really understand who they are. And when I say understand,
Listen, you know what? I'm too much for this lobby.
one of the
I'm too much for this lobby. I'm gonna leave.
world is teaching us
I
that we are
apologize.
God. You know, I have that belief. I've had it for 30 years, and yet there's nothing in this life that supports that concept. We